If you're anywhere near Friday's printed Wall Street Journal, it will be hard not to spot the headline, right there on the front page: Tesla faces crunch as cash hoard thins. The story crystallizes what some critics have been saying about the Barron's Next 50 company for some time. The Journal wrote, the automaker is entering one of the most critical phases in its history, a make-or-break period in which Tesla must boost production of the Model 3 or possibly face severe financial consequences. Tesla has said it intends to be producing 2,500 of the cars by the end of Q1, and twice that by mid-year. The spotlight on Model 3 production has been intense. Bloomberg has created a tracker that estimates that the company is currently producing 737 of the cars a week. And the Mercury News recently published an article profiling Model 3 Stalkers. Wells Fargo, meanwhile, estimated between 600 and 700 earlier this week. On Thursday, CNBC reported on a high ratio of flawed parts and vehicles made by Tesla, saying those flaws have hampered Model 3 production. Tesla denied those reports, and one analyst published a photograph of a factory lot packed with cars, calling the CNBC author a clown. The Model 3 is crucial for Tesla, which offered it at a base price of $35,000. The price was a signal to consumers and the marketplace that the company was ready to be a mass-market producer. Success would strengthen its position in a growing market as competition intensifies, which other automakers are increasingly signaling, and moderate its need for more outside funding. Slip-ups naturally raise questions about the company's ability to deliver on that promise, but also about when, and at what terms, it might need to raise money. Some bulls, however, argue that, generally speaking, quality and productions are dimming demand for Teslas. As of now, we believe that no measurable impact to demand exists as a result of these issues, Nomura Instinet analysts wrote Friday, even as they admitted risk to projected production levels. Meanwhile, shares of Tesla, which have slightly lagged behind the S&P 500 this year but outperformed it over the last 12 months, were off some 1.5% in Friday morning trading. And the stalkers were still stalking.
Nissan has long been rumored to be working on a bigger version of the Leaf to produce an all-electric SUV or crossover. 7 years after releasing the Leaf, Nissan has yet to bring the vehicle to market, but an executive now says that it will come to production based on the IMX concept. The head of Nissan design in Europe, Mamoru Aoki, confirmed the news to Autocar this week. He said, "The IMX is not just a concept car. In a few years, it will appear in production." That's surprising considering that the IMX concept is quite futuristic looking and wasn't expected to be something that would make it to production, since Nissan referred to it as a vision of the future. It was unveiled in October last year, and Nissan claims that the concept is powered by two high-output electric motors at the front and rear, enabling all-wheel drive. The dual motors have a combined power output of 320 kilowatts and 700 newton-meters of torque. Without specifying the capacity, Nissan says that the battery pack is high capacity with increased energy density, enabling more than 600 kilometers, about 372 miles, on a single charge. Now Aoki has also commented on the vehicle's interior. He said, "The interior is notably bigger than with a conventional vehicle, and there's much more usable space, thanks to the totally flat floor allowed by the underfloor battery pack." The dashboard is also pushed right back towards the windscreen because the heating, ventilation and aircon HVAC unit is under the bonnet. That's the interior of the concept that they originally revealed.
In 2 weeks' time, the Toyota RAV4 won't be the only new compact crossover at this year's New York International Auto Show. Subaru has also teased a redesigned SUV set to debut in the Big Apple. Like Toyota, Subaru will be unveiling the 5th generation of its popular model. Few details have been released alongside the teaser image, which shows the passenger side C-shaped rear tail light. The lighting design has become common across Subaru's lineup over the years. Expect other styling cues to be borrowed from the Visive Future concept. The Forester will continue to have a 4-cylinder boxer engine under the hood, likely to be borrowed from the Impreza. As with most of its models, power will be sent to all 4 wheels. Enthusiasts may be surprised to find that a CVT may be the only transmission available. The Japanese automaker has recently stated that it is considering stepping away from manuals in the name of safety. The Forester was first introduced more than 20 years ago. The current model is powered by a 2.5-liter motor producing 170 horsepower, while an optional 2.0-liter turbo puts out a 250 horsepower. Those numbers may be adequate for the average driver, but some Subi fans continue to hold out for a 300 horsepower STI variant. The new model will also be priced differently than the outgoing one. The 2019 Subaru Forester will make its world debut on March 28.
Analysts at Consumer Edge said in a note Friday, Tesla Incorporated may be falling short of its production goals for the Model 3, but investors may not necessarily care. The analysts, led by James Albertine, said, Tesla likely will be making 2,000 Model 3 sedans a week by the end of this month, below its target of churning out 2,500 of the key mass-market vehicles. Consumer Edge recently hosted meetings with Tesla executives, and the potential Model 3 production miss was one of its key takeaways after the discussions. Consumer Edge kept its SPA rating on Tesla unchanged, with a price target of $385, which would represent 20% upside from Friday close. Even before the meetings, the analysts were not counting on 2,500 Model 3s a week by the end of first quarter, they said. The analyst said, the production ramp is complex and Tesla is being prudent by focusing on quality versus quantity in this early production phase. We also believe many investors would view a figure of 2,000 or greater by 1Q and as a positive, as it would indicate significant progress. The Silicon Valley carmaker kept mum on a Model 3 reservation count, a number it hasn't updated since August, when it said it had 455,000 reservations. Consumer Edge said, Tesla believes in pent-up demand for the Model 3 that cannot be seen through changes in reservations. Tesla said in January it would be making 5,000 Model 3 sedans a week by the end of the second quarter. Tesla originally said it would ramp up Model 3 production to 5,000 sedans a week in 2017 and then on to 10,000 a week in 2018, but it pushed back its 2017 goal to late in the first quarter of 2018 and then again to end of second quarter. If it misses its latest deadline, the company is likely to get a pass. The Consumer Edge analyst said, many investors are looking for Tesla to achieve that 5,000 unit production rate sometime in the end of the second half of the year, not necessarily by the end of June. They said, given Tesla's focus on quality, the complexity involved and TSLA's history achieving production guidance, we think the street has some cushion relative to current guidance. And if Tesla achieves the 5,000 goal, it will not need to raise additional capital. The analyst said they also had conversations about executive turnover at Tesla, given recent senior-level departures that included John McNeil and Eric Branderiz, Tesla's former sales and service head and chief accountant. They said, based on our conversations with management, we do not believe there is a serious issue driving these exit decisions and we would caution against reading too much into these headlines at this time. Tesla will need to replace the role of Chief Operating Officer or Head of Services at some point. Tesla shares have gained 23% in the past 12 months, which compares with 16% gains for the S&P 500 index in the same period.